interesting about the iPhone example as well is, with an iPhone, over time, you start to personalize it, right? You start to put on your set of apps and the things that speak to you. And I think very much the same way that the expectation of employees now is that things should start to be personalized towards me because I am giving you my data. Again, mirroring the customer experience, as I start to give you my information, the offer of exchange is that then you will start to offer me tailor-made things that suit my specific needs. And I think that's really where I'm seeing a big shift this year specifically, is starting to look at really understanding the aspect and the expectation of employees when it comes to the personalization of the user experience. Are you seeing the same?
Spot on. So I think that's really a great lead into to a really good example. I think if you think about if for every employee that you have in your organization, even if you have, and I'm going to use some basic examples, a banking teller, right? If you have 500 banking tellers, the reality is you have 500 individuals who have unique aspirations, unique abilities, and dreams and hopes for their future. And it is about ensuring that we have a look at the individual. We don't blanket everyone and assume you're a teller, therefore your career path will be X.
Yes.
So what we're seeing is the growing need to, first of all, obviously leveraging a foundation platform of your job architecture, understanding what are people's core skills and capabilities today,
yes.
but actually starting to integrate the way we look at our employees, leveraging different pieces of information that we hold on them, right? So, for example, when an employee does online learning in their own time, or even in their, during their lunch hour or in the evenings, whenever they, catching up on acquiring new skills, it's important to be able to understand what it is that they are learning, right? Because sometimes they are brushing up on a process or a practice that they need for their current day job, but they may be acquiring skills for the future, right? So it is about understanding what are people investing in their personal time to grow and develop themselves, and seeing themselves as, not just in the role that they're in. It's about understanding the individual in the context of their performance track record, right? What have they done in the past? How have they performed? Equally, how do their colleagues see them, right? So in the context of recognition, we've got a 360-degree process in Nedbank where colleagues who recognize excellence in one of their counterparts can make a nomination for recognition. And it's by pulling the various components of what becomes the employee profile together, you start to see the uniqueness of one individual compared to another. And I think so it has two benefits. One, it allows, if we start to understand what is the employee's future aspirations for their careers, what is their potential based on the psychometric profile and assessments that they did on coming into the organization? What are their learning aspirations, or what are they investing in terms of developing their skills over time? It actually starts to reshape how we then send, how we have our digital solutions, digital learning being pushed to them, designed for their specific needs, their specific interests, their aspirations, right? So that's certainly a way of meeting the individual at a personal level. It's not just about saying blanket set of training you need to go on, this is what you need to do. It's about ensuring that the individual is being fed with what actually fuels their motivation and their needs. And equally in the context of the technology that we're designing for line managers, what I think is important is to appreciate the need for integration of data, right?
Yeah.
So if I think about in the past where we would have been, we've certainly relied upon, I would say, data designed that is recorded screen upon screen, almost like an onion, right? You have to click through 15 screens to get a full picture of somebody. Well, the reality is that means that as a line manager, you've got to go and fetch a view of the person's recognition, and fetch a view of the person's learning interests, and fetch a different view of the individual's career aspirations from different parts of your ERP. And I think it's really today where what we are really trying to push is integrated talent profiling, so
Yeah.
that a line manager can look at a dashboard in an employee and they can see what is their leave record recently. Have they taken leave, right? Because that's a very good indication of engagement. What are their career aspirations? Because that's on a dashboard. Looking at what are their recent 4 or 5 most recent individual learning time that they what have they done to invest in new skills. What is their performance track record over the last 3 years look like? If you start to see it in a blended way, all of a sudden you start to get a better picture of your employee. And I want to go back to the example that I used around things like leave, right?
Yeah.
Leave is not necessarily just an indication that somebody is tired, they need to go on holiday. It is also an indication of how they feel about their role, right? If they're taking extraordinary amounts of sick leave, it's about understanding, okay, hold on, this person is taking sick leave. Either they really have got a really sort of problematic health issue, or actually are they disengaged, right? So it is about pulling various components of data together in such a way that they can be consumed simply, easily, and in an integrated way that starts to tell you a fundamentally different story. And we record so much information. It's about how you package that information, put it in the hands of decision makers, put it in the hands of line leaders. And that really is what ultimately then shapes a fundamental shift and enhancement to the workforce experience.